Were those Cocoa Puffs? Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. Today we are going to be talking about Andor Episode 5, The Axe Forgets. This was a largely unnecessary episode. I thought the show was pretty good. I did have, and I've talked about it before, I had issues with the pacing, especially in those first three episodes. Episode 4 I thought came together nicely. Now episode 5 really takes what I would say is a step back pacing-wise. This episode didn't need to exist. They went and explored a lot of the character motivations. I don't really need to go that in-depth on a group of rebels. And I certainly didn't need to spend that much time doing it. It was a longer episode. It was about 40 some odd minutes. So it just, to me, this was not, wasn't a necessary episode. I don't say it was a bad episode, but it just wasn't needed. You just went more in depth on stuff. You got to see an awful lot of breakfast scenes. And that should kind of tell you something. The cast is fine, but this, like I said, this was just a slow drag. So there you are. We'll get into our dive here and talk about some of the specific stuff. So we had Cyril Karn. Cyril Karn is that contracted security guy who led the just wildly unsuccessful investigation into the murder of the two guards that led to just everything going balls out bad on the planet. And a bunch of guys got killed. He got relieved, and the Empire came in and assumed control of the post. And of course, he got fired. Now, you saw him get the slap from his mom last week when he came home, and it opens up with them having breakfast. And this was a weird scene. One, his mom is like a 1970s, almost Italian mob grandmother kind of character, a little odd. And the kitchen is decorated the same, lots of yellows and browns and oranges. I don't know who designed that. It's not a great look. It's a little weird. And the breakfast, he's literally eating something that looks like Cocoa Puffs. Imperial Puffs? I don't know, but it wasn't a good look. Anyway, he's kind of down and out. She's basically disappointed him, and she's convinced his uncle Harlow will help take care of his problems. I don't know what that means. He's probably a shifty character, and he's going to get drawn into some shifty stuff, because that's what I'm guessing will happen. He's he's clearly not a likable character. And he's also, he's not a very interesting character. He was fine doing what he was doing. I don't really need to explore any more of his life. And so the axe forgets, the tree remembers. That's the line of the show. And that's talking about motivations. And now his motivation, or whatever he's going to do, is to find Andor, because Andor is the one who got him derailed. Actually, he got himself derailed. Secret. So it's all, anyway. Now we go to poor Mon Mothma and her husband Perrin, who's he's not good. We talked about him a little bit. I was hoping he wouldn't turn out to be as bad as he is, but he's not. He's not a great character. We also didn't get to see that dinner that I was hoping for. Last episode, they talked about it, where all of her enemies were going to be basically at his dinner. I mean, either it happened or it didn't. But we didn't see it. So maybe it's upcoming. We just haven't seen it yet. But I thought that was going to be a really interesting thing. But we just didn't see it. Again, it's a breakfast scene. Her, again, talking to her husband. Her daughter comes down, and she's supposed to be spending the day with her. And she doesn't want to. She wants to spend it with her dad, because she just thinks she's using her as a showpiece, the daughter. And she probably is. Let's not kid ourselves. But again, it wasn't a very interesting scene. I don't care if her daughter wants to go with her or not. Her husband kind of is goading this on, because he clearly doesn't really like being married to Mon Mothma. He likes the lifestyle, like I said before. And I guess you do get a little insight, and then they got married to each other at 16. It was one of those arranged marriages, as some cultures have. So they don't really have real affection for each other. They're just kind of in this thing together. But Per, again, he comes off as kind of a dick. And I mean, maybe that will improve. I mean, maybe he actually has some secret motivations and he's also involved in the rebellion, but I doubt it. He just seems like a dick. Now on Aldhani, we're back with Cassian and the rebels. They're preparing for the robbery of the garrison. Remember, they're going to be stealing basically the quarters payroll from the garrison. And it's a fairly elaborate scheme to get in there, get out of there without getting blown up while using an annual atmospheric disturbance as cover. But man, this dragged on a long time. They're practicing movements. He's practicing his phrasing and things like that. And there's a Skeen is one of the fellows in this band of rebels, and he really doesn't trust Andor, and he doesn't really have a lot of reasons to. But he really acts out aggressively, and you get his backstory as to why he's doing what he's doing. The Empire took his brother's farm, and his brother ended up killing himself. Okay, that's reasonable, but I don't need to know that. I simply don't. Everybody has been wronged by the Empire in their own way, and they all have their own reasons for doing this. That would have been enough for me, frankly. So we get an awful lot about him. We also, Andor also reveals that things kind of come to a head. I go into more detail, but there's not a lot of reason to. Things come to a head. Skeen sees that he's carrying that crystal that Luthen gave him, and he's like, "See, I told you. Okay, what? He's got a crystal. And Andor reveals that he's getting paid for the gig. And everybody's a little off by that, but they have a job to do, and that's what Lex, the lead lady in charge, tells them. She's like, look, this was going to get called off unless we took him on. Whether he's a mercenary or not, it doesn't really matter. And that's the truth. Again, see, none of this, you didn't need to see any of this week. And we go back to ISB headquarters where remember Deborah the blonde Imperial Security Bureau lady who thinks that the rebellion is building. She just doesn't quite have the pieces, but there's all these random robberies of parts and movements in scattered places. And her logic is it's too random to be random because that's the way she would do it. And it's a good strategy. So she's still trying to build the case. She's only in the episode very briefly this week, which is too bad because I actually like her as a character. We didn't get to see much of the ISB in this episode at all. And there's not a lot more to it than this. And at the end we have we also find out the motivations for what was the gentleman's name, Lieutenant Gorn. Why he's involved in this. He fell in love with a local lady. He got passed over for promotion because of that, and then he lost. So he lost the promotion, then he lost the lady, and then he just became disillusioned with the Empire. All right, that's more of a weak story, but that's what his motivation is. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Again, you didn't really need to know that. You didn't care. I know I didn't care. And at the end of the episode, we go back to Lucian and in the antiques gallery on Coruscant. He's listening on a radio. He's very anxious because he knows this plan is going to be going down soon. So he's listening for chatter on the radio, and his partner's like, if you want to actually be helpful, go clean some coins or something because you're not going to hear anything tonight. And I understand why he's nervous. I mean, before a big operation, you're waiting for the whatever, and that's what he's doing. But he also reveals to her that he's questioning his own motivations in this. Did he try to push this too soon by bringing Andor in? Was he the right choice? Maybe he wasn't. And she tells him, well, tomorrow this will all be over. And he responds with, or it's just beginning. Okay. And that's it. That's the episode. I want to say that, like I said, going into this, I thought this was a largely unnecessary episode. You can skip this and probably just go episode 4 and then maybe episode 6, because I'm hoping episode 6 will really bring all this forward. The pace wasn't great this time around, so you can skip this one. You don't really need to watch this one. Sorry, Andor. You know, I'm on your side here, but you need to give us better material than this. And that's it for now, folks. This has been Roman of the Empire. Please like and subscribe, as it does help our fledgling YouTube channel. Signing off. Be kind.